Hi everyone, some gamer dude here. Last time we talked about Timmy, Johnny and Spike. Getting back to what Mark Rosewater actually said on the topic, instead of taking the commonly accepted idea of the concept as truth. In that video, I made a big deal of the fact that Timmy, Johnny and Spike was devised for Magic players and Magic players alone. Not collectors, not investors, and certainly not the players of other games. Magic players. However, I also said that it still had merit when discussing other games. It's just that, historically, it's been warped when people try to adapt it to other games. People don't remain true to what Mark Rosewater said and go off on their own little tangents while still trying to present their arguments as Mark's arguments. Let's be said, not a fan. So then, this brings up the question, if it has merit, why does it need to be warped? It's all down to game design. Magic is a bit of an outlier in game design today. It's not heavily archetyped in the context of games like Yu-Gi-Oh! It doesn't really have obvious pushed interactions where the developer wants you to play a certain way, and it doesn't have avatar cards that it focuses around. It does have some themes like tribal or mechanics, but it's not as heavy as other games. It's something you can do, but not how you are asked to play the game for a viable deck and a good time. I suppose one way of looking at it is, Magic isn't like other games. Then, with Timmy, Johnny and Spike being designed for Magic, of course it needs to be warped. It wasn't designed with modern Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon or Dragon Ball Super or anything like that in mind, and Magic is a different beast entirely. But as I said, the idea still has merit. That's because it doesn't actually need to be warped, but have the right lenses applied. Let's get some immediate facts out of the way. Spike is applicable to every single game, period. If you make a game and it has an audience, people will take it seriously and they will become competitive at it. Spikes are born. Spike is universal and doesn't need to be warped or changed to suit the arguments and never has been. It can be taken as a given. Johnny and Timmy are where things start seeing massive changes depending on the game. But let's take a step back. Mark makes the point to state a lot of players are hybrids. Timmy Johnny, Johnny Spike, and Timmy Spike. In reality, a lot of people have said it's close to a video game stats system where everyone has points allocated into Timmy, Johnny, and Spike. Certain stats are more prominent than others, but all exist. I think it's also worth remembering that Timmy and Johnny are not absolutes. They have a wide range of concepts they cover. Everyone falls into subcategories of each classification. But that also applies to the types of people games attract as players as well. Let's take Cardfight Vanguard as an example. What types of people does Vanguard attract? Vanguard has some incredibly engaging and fun gameplay on its core level. It really appeals to the visceral experience. Attacking, drive checks, triggers, guarding, everything comes together for a stellar experience. It's dynamic, explosive and interactive. Always moving. It is superb at attracting Timmy-type players, one of the best on the market. Then we get to Johnny. Vanguard's deck building has always been one of its weak points. Even with the new Ride deck, deck construction is fairly railroaded. Good cards are obvious, interactions are obvious, the decks they want you to make are obvious. About the only input you really have is tweaking it to your liking. Does that mean Johnny doesn't exist in Vanguard? Absolutely not. Just that it doesn't if we only look at Johnny in the deck builder lens. As soon as we look at Johnny as the deck artist, or even the combo player, Johnny magically appears in Vanguard. This is another one of Vanguard's great strengths, its personality and how personalized it can feel, especially in its older forms. It's baked in with the concept of my avatar, but it is near universal for Vanguard players to have a specific clan they resonate with above all others, then a specific boss or archetype from that clan. A subsection of a subsection that Vanguard players identify with specifically. This is largely facilitated by the large amount of themes in the game. Vanguard quite literally has something for most everyone, either for aesthetic or mechanical reasons, usually both. But here's the thing, that mechanical or aesthetic reason, that's a lot of why people pick up Vanguard in the first place. It's a major draw of it, A fun, engaging, and dynamic game, something for everyone. If I was trying to sell someone on Vanguard, that's how I'd do it. This also has the side effect of every Vanguard player either becoming a Johnny or Spike, depending on what they prioritise. The concept of just liking to play Vanguard with friends because it's fun is completely unheard of. There is always an aesthetic reason that drives their reasons for play. This is how Vanguard was designed. It's on purpose. What this means is that Vanguard doesn't have a pure Timmy. It has a Timmy-Johnny hybrid, and I'd even make the argument that Vanguard doesn't have a pure Johnny either. It has the Timmy-Johnny hybrid, the person who likes playing their clan or avatar. A Johnny Spike hybrid that wants to show that their chosen clan or avatar is competitively viable, and a pure Spike that just plays the best deck in format. I chose Vanguard as an example on how to apply Timmy, Johnny and Spike to other games without warping them, because I feel it best exemplifies the current state of TCGs. The heavy push for personality, limited customization, pushing decks, experience matters most. The focus of Timmy and Johnny, the people that consume the most product. This is especially prevalent in Japanese games due to Dimension Zero, a heavily Spike-focused game that failed spectacularly. Most Japanese games today, such as Gate Ruler, Build Divide, and pretty much everything from Bushiroad, have their origins in Dimension Zero's stuff and the lessons learned from it. But back on topic. Now we've seen that we do not have to warp Timmy, Johnny and Spike when looking at non-Magic games, but we do have to get more specific with what we're looking for. We have to understand the full scope of what Mark was talking about, the specifics and expansions. We need to understand the game itself, what attracts people to it, and where that applies to the Timmy, Johnny and Spike paradigm. We can now see that you just can't blindly apply Timmy, Johnny and Spike, then warp things to meet our own ends. Mark's full system is far more nuanced than typically presented, and it doesn't need to be warped. But what about the consumer base? As evidenced by the last few years, games that play poorly or aren't intuitive to play after reading the rule set can still succeed. They just aren't succeeding because of the player base, however, but the consumer base. That isn't the same thing. So join me next time in the third and final part of this mini-series when we talk about who's buying your game, the dark and far more important mirror to Timmy, Johnny and Spike. This has been Some Gamer Dude, and thanks for watching.